Yes, I know, you want to kill me.
Let's see. Hi, buddy.
The silence in my house was deafening. My cat of 17 years had passed, and it wasn't just the absence of her soft purrs or the patter of her paws. It was a void that settled deep in my chest, heavy and cold. I wasn't sure I could open my heart again, not so soon, but something stirred in me one morning, a quiet nudge, like my old cat's spirit whispering, "It's time." So I decided to visit the shelter, unsure but willing to try. Walking through the shelter was overwhelming. Dozens of eyes stared back at me, some pleading, some wary, all carrying stories of their own. But Jax's gaze was different. He sat in his cage, a small gray tabby with a crooked tail, not bothering to meet my eyes. He didn't meow or paw at the bars like the others. It was as if he'd given up, resigned to whatever came next. The shelter staff didn't sugarcoat it. They called him unfriendly, difficult, a cat nobody wanted. If he didn't find a home soon, they'd release him back to the streets. My stomach twisted at the thought. He wouldn't survive out there, not with that tired look in his eyes. I approached his cage, half expecting a hiss or a swat, but when I reached in and lifted him, Jax just let me. No resistance, no warmth either. Just a patient stillness, like he was waiting for me to put him down and walk away. It stung, that indifference. I wanted to connect, to feel something, but all I saw was exhaustion in his green eyes. So I set him back down, my heart sinking. Maybe I wasn't ready either.
We walked into the shelter. Jax let me hold him for a little bit. Didn't seem too interested in me, so I let him go. Then my husband went and picked him.
Then my husband stepped in. Now, this is a man who'd always sworn he wasn't a cat person. He'd tolerated our old cat, but that was about it. I figured he'd just stand back and let me decide, but something drew him to Jax. He scooped the cat up, and I swear, time stopped. Jax, this supposedly standoffish cat, curled into a tight ball in my husband's lap, nuzzling into his chest like he'd found home. I stood there, jaw practically on the floor. My husband looked at me, half laughing, and said, "Well, looks like I've got a cat now." It was unreal. So we signed the papers and Jax came home with us. The first few weeks were quiet, too quiet. Jax didn't meow, didn't play, didn't act like a cat who was thrilled to be in a new home. I worried constantly. Was he sick? Traumatized? I'd sit on the floor trying to coax him out with toys, but he'd just watch me with those tired eyes. The shelter had mentioned his broken tail, maybe congenital, maybe not, but the vet assured us it didn't hurt him. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. But then, one morning, I heard it. A soft, barely there meow. It was the sweetest sound, like a whisper of hope. Slowly, Jax started to come alive.
Hi. You're just the cutest. I love you. Yeah.
He began to show a playful side, like a kitten waking up after a long nap. He'd chase a stray sock across the floor, pouncing with this goofy, lopsided leap that made me laugh out loud. But he was also stubborn, like a teenager testing boundaries. He'd knock over a glass just to see what would happen, then look at me with this innocent, "who me?" expression. It was impossible not to love him, so I'd scoop him up and he'd melt into me, his whole body pressing close like he wanted to be part of me. That's when I realized Jax wasn't unfriendly. He was starving for love, just too guarded to show it at first. My husband, the self-proclaimed non-cat guy, became Jax's favorite person. Every morning, Jax would follow him to the bathroom, hopping onto the counter while he brushed his teeth. It was their little ritual, and it was so darn cute I could hardly stand it. I'd peek in and see Jax's crooked tail flicking back and forth, his eyes locked on my husband like he was the center of the universe. But there was one thing that puzzled me. Jax refused to sleep with us. I'd carry him to our bed, hoping he'd curl up at our feet, but every time he'd slip away and head back to the living room floor. I tried everything, soft blankets, cozy pillows, but he'd always return to that same spot. It broke my heart a little. Maybe deep down he still didn't believe this was his home.
There's this quote that I think about often, that life is not measured by time, it is measured by moments. Some are big, but most are small.
That thought haunted me. How could anyone have thought this cat was unworthy of love? The shelter staff had been so quick to write him off, ready to toss him back to the streets. It made me angry, but it also made me grateful. Grateful that we'd found him in time, that we'd seen the light in him when others hadn't. So I made it my mission to show Jax he was safe, that he was ours. I'd sit with him on the living room floor, talking softly, letting him come to me on his terms. And little by little, he did.
Oh, thank you. I love you. It's so cute.
One evening, I was sprawled on the couch, feeling the weight of a long day. Jax hopped up beside me, something he rarely did. I held my breath, afraid to scare him off. But then he climbed onto my chest, his paws kneading gently, and let out that soft meow I'd come to adore. I felt tears prick my eyes. For the first time, I saw no trace of that old tiredness in him. There was a spark, a warmth, like he finally trusted me. So I wrapped my arms around him, and we stayed like that for what felt like hours, his purring vibrating against my heart. Jax changed our home. The silence was gone, replaced by the jingle of his collar, the thud of his paws as he raced around, and those quiet, sweet meows. But sometimes I'd catch him staring out the window and I'd wonder what he was thinking. Did he remember the shelter? The streets? I'd never know his full story, but it didn't matter. He was here now and he was loved.
My only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are gray.
My husband and I started joking that Jax had adopted us, not the other way around. He'd follow us from room to room, his crooked tail held high like a little flag. But that living room floor thing still got to me. I'd lie awake at night, wondering why he wouldn't sleep with us. Was it fear? Habit? I tried asking the vet, but she just shrugged and said, "Some cats are like that." So I let it go, deciding to love him on his terms, just as he was learning to love us on ours.
Where'd you go?
One day, I found an old photo of my previous cat, and that familiar ache returned. I missed her, but I realized something. Jax wasn't here to replace her. He was here to carry her love forward in his own way. His gentleness, his quiet trust, his goofy teenage energy. It all filled the corners of my heart that had felt so empty. So, I stopped trying to make him sleep in our bed. If the living room floor was where he felt safe, that was okay. He'd found his place, and we'd found ours with him. Looking back, I can't believe how close Jax came to being cast aside. It's hard to imagine a world where a cat this sweet, this full of love, could be deemed unworthy. But that's not his story anymore. His eyes don't carry that tired resignation now. They shine with light, with trust, with home. So every day, I hold him a little tighter, grateful for the small miracle that brought him to us.
Yes. What's going on here?
You show Grandma what you get.
Oh.
for watching. If you like the story, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. See you in the next video.